When we hit 20,000 subscribers, we'll give away a free NFL jersey of your choice. So subscribe now.
Welcome to TYT Sports, everybody. Big day in the NFL, obviously. The championship games, two great games. A lot of analysis over what went wrong in those games, why the Giants were able to win, why the Patriots were able to win. Really, very simple. The Giants were able to win. The Patriots were able to win because of Billy Cundiff and Lee Evans, and the Giants were able to win because of Kyle Williams. I wish Billy Cundiff and Kyle Williams great success going forward. I sense we may have seen the last of Lee Evans. It's just a thought. I love sort of the idea of celebrating Brady and how he had that gutsy 1-yard plunge on 4th down. Brady had one of his worst games in a big situation. He threw 2 picks that were entirely his fault. And didn't throw a touchdown pass for the first time in as long as I can remember.
36 games.
36 games, as Rick says, the first time without a touchdown pass. That game was lost. I mean, if Lee Evans pulls the ball into his stomach, it's a touchdown, and the game is over, and the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl.
Hang on. Everything you said was accurate aside from the Lee Evans stuff, because Sterling Moore got there, and he disrupted the pass.
Sterling Moore got there, but Evans left the ball here. If Evans pulls the ball in, if Evans cradles the ball, then all of a sudden we've got a touchdown. It was a great play. Sterling Moore, great play. Undrafted rookie, cut by the Patriots after he was on their practice squad, re-signed, barely makes it into this game essentially based on his history, and makes this huge play. And as Sterling Moore said, it's a play we practice all the time. It's the first time I ever had to use that play in a game. He made a great play. Sterling Moore made a great play. But Lee Evans, by the way, here's what Lee Evans said, and you got to give him credit for the way he took on the responsibility. Honestly, this is the most disappointing part. The most disappointing part of all this, Evans says, I feel personally that I let everybody down. This is the greatest team I've ever been on. You played for the Bills, my friend, and I feel like I let everybody down. Yeah, it's on my shoulders. Hard to sit here and accept how and why things happen, but that's the reality of it. So good for Lee Evans. He was he definitely accepted all that responsibility after the game, as did Billy Cundiff, who said, it's a kick I've kicked 1,000 times in my career. I just went out there and didn't convert, no excuse for it. It appeared to me, to get back to the Ravens-Patriots game there, that the Ravens were a little rushed on that. Rick, did you see that?
Yeah. Totally agree. He was coming from one side of the field, doing his kicks into the practice net, and then it just seemed very rushed because he had to run down the sideline, and then they had to line up, and he was still jogging onto the field with about 10 seconds left. They set up with about 10 seconds left.
On the play clock. Yeah,
very
they had a timeout. After the game, John Harbaugh said that he didn't even think of using the timeout in this situation. He, to his credit, says in hindsight, probably should have looked into it. The holder, Sam Cooke, love his music, he said that we might have been a little rushed. So, but anyway, and he missed that 32-yard field goal. He missed it like a Redskin. I mean, that was a missed field goal. That was not, he didn't push that just wide. That was gone from the start. Again, though, really impressed with Lee Evans and Billy Cundiff for the way they answered those questions. And then Kyle Williams in the other game. I think if we were going to name, and I guess we will, a Turk of the Week for this week, it would come, from my point of view, from the Patriots game, and I would give it to Vince Wilfork, who just seemed to spend the entire game in the Ravens' backfield. I think he had 3 tackles for losses, 6 tackles. He had a sack, but even on plays he didn't have tackles. It's just that for the first 3 quarters of that game, Ray Rice could not get going, and it was because Vince Wilfork was there instantly as soon as he got the ball.
And you know what? Nata did not have a good game on the other side.
No.
Haloti Nata had a horrible game.
But the Ravens, apparently after the game, the Ravens were, they talked a good game. Mentioned what Billy Cundiff said, mentioned what Lee Evans said. But in that locker room, before the media came in, the Ravens were ballistic and angry and helmets thrown. And they were not, I mean, they were handling it like guys who were enormously disappointed, who recognized what they had lost. That game was theirs to win. And Joe Flacco was running off the field after the pass to Lee Evans with his hands raised in the air. He thought it's a touchdown. John Harbaugh thinks it should have been. He was surprised that it wasn't reviewed. I think everybody who looks at it can see very clearly that that would not have been called a touchdown. But it was a little surprising, I guess, that they didn't look at it. They dominated time of possession over the Patriots, 33 minutes, 33 seconds to 26 minutes and 27 seconds. Forever, I read today, this will go down in sort of Raven history. This is the drop and the kick That's it. This was the toughest loss in the history of the Baltimore Ravens. By the way, the Ravens center, Matt Burke was on that Minnesota Vikings team 13 years ago when Gary Anderson missed that field goal in the NFC Championship game after the Vikings' 15-1 season. Gary Anderson, who I think had not missed a kick either that year or had not missed a kick under 40 yards. And he missed, I think, a 39-yard field goal that would have put him up 10 with less than like 3 or 4 minutes to play. They would have won the game. They would have gone to the Super Bowl.
You know what this means?
Yeah.
It's the curse of Matt Burke.
It's Matt Burke's fault. Jerk of the week, Matt Burke. Obviously.